Hey, what's up guys, it's Apollo Uchiha here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with a new movie. The name of this movie is What If Naruto Had Powers of Ancient Times, and yeah guys, it is an unscripted movie as well as my own idea. So make sure you leave a like and subscribe to both of my channels. Yes guys, I have a second What If channel now. It's called Apollo Extra What Ifs, and yeah, I will leave a link in the description. You can go and visit it and make sure you leave a like and subscribe there as well. Just to show some love and support, which I know you guys will show. Aside from that, yes, today is my own idea day, so I hope you don't mind. And without any further ado, let's begin with our today's story. Roll the intro. Our story begins in Konoha Gakure no Sato with our protagonist who was currently sitting inside his Gigi's office. And since he was bored and had nothing to do, was reading a book that he has picked out from the literature that was there and belonged to his Gigi, since his Gigi didn't mind him reading some of the contents there. And Naruto has picked up a book of the old time, which was a book that was close to decaying by the time now, and Naruto was extremely careful with its pages because they were withering away. And Naruto couldn't understand any of the contents but was quite amazed still by it because of the images that were drawn there. Images of huge beings that seemed so cool and awesome. As seeing Naruto's face like that, even the working Hiruzen got interested in what he was reading. Even though he knew many of the books that have been placed there, he has gone through many of the times through all of them, but this particular one is the only one that he has read only once after taking the mentality of the Hokage when he was younger, and it has been many years. So he said, after his interest too was piqued, got up from his desk and sat near Naruto. "What are you reading there, Naruto, my boy?" "Oh, Gigi, this is a book that I found. I can't understand what's going on here, but the images are so cool. I mean, look at them." As Hiruzen then chuckled. "Let me see." As Hiruzen, after picking up that book, was quite shocked at what was written inside of it. These were the kaijus that are said to be existent in the long time ago, before humans existed. Due to the constant war and dominance that was going on between them, they extincted or have went into hiding. They are still a myth, but some say that they still to this day exist, but are in a deep slumber. And some even goes as far as to say that some of them have blessed the shinobi clans who ventured upon their slumbers and have granted them to transform into themselves. As Hiruzen then said, "Oh, I remember this one, Naruto. It is a mythological book from the old time. Some says that it is written by the sage of the sixth path himself, but I really doubt it." "Really? But what if it is?" "What if it is, Naruto? Then I highly doubt it still, but if it is, then what he has wrote might be true." "So there are kaijus then?" "Yes, Naruto, there might be, but that is highly likely impossible for them to exist, even if they existed at the time, even before us. God knows what happened to them, or even if they were real in the first place. I want to find out more about them." As Hiruzen then said, "You don't need to focus on that anymore or much, Naruto. All you gotta do is just focus on one thing, and that is for you to become Hokage. Didn't you tell me that you wanted to become Hokage?" "Yeah, no, Gigi. Naruto will become the strongest Hokage, even surpassing you and the Yellow Flash." "Good. Now run along." As after that, the door opened as the elders walked inside, as they saw Naruto leaving. "You know, Hiruzen, this is just what we were expecting. You do show the balanced favoritism. I'm not showing any favoritism. I have promised a dying comrade and my successor that I will protect his legacy by my own hands, and that is what I'm doing." "I see. So what is the aim of the kid? I heard that he wanted to become a Hokage." "Yes, that is his goal." "So you influenced him too?" "Well, obviously, he witnessed me, everyone was respecting me, and have deep respect for the Kages, even before me or after me." "I see. So you are keeping his legacy on track so that he can make Minato and Kushina proud." "Hi. So what's this about this book?" "This is the book of the old times, about the kaijus, I presume," said Homura, as this piqued interest in Danzo and Koharu as well. "Yes, it is. Kaijus. But weren't they just a myth?" said Koharu. "Some say they are, some say they aren't. said Danzo. You believe in this, Danzo? This is just a fairy tale to scare off and ward off the kids. Some say, Hiruzen, that this book was written by the sage of the sixth path himself. And you believe that? Yes, somewhat, I believe. And I am very afraid that if this book or information falls in the hands of those who don't deserve it, there might be consequences for that. Because they will try to go into the end of this world even to search for the existing clue that the kaijus did existed. But we don't need to look any further. There are some clans that were blessed by them. It could be that some of that clanmen has written down this book. That may be true, but that is highly unlikely possible. We would have witnessed at least one of the clansmen from each of the clan that we all know in the elemental nation to transform into a kaiju if that was to be true. You know what? That is correct. But it is said that one of the persons from the snow country has met one and he has gone crazy. Everyone claims that he is, at least, before he died, but some of them say that what he was witnessed was true, especially the king. But he blandly said that it was a lie. How do you know so much? They are working on something, Hiruzen. Something that shouldn't exist. This could be a bad news for us. All of us, said Koharu. What are you trying to say? We should warn the others? Yes. But Danzo, I get it that they are on this, but why you? Because a kaiju shouldn't exist, Hiruzen. In this time, if it does, then this could be quite dangerous. I too myself didn't believe this at first, but when I sent out my spies, they have gotten images. Here are the proof. As the proof was then shown to Hiruzen, whose eyes widened. Oh my god. What is that? They call it a mecha Godzilla. What? Yes. They have found a skull of a dragon that is supposed to be a kaiju. You mean Ghidorah? The king of lightning and destruction? Yes, the same one. But wasn't he the three-headed one? If one of his head is found and that head is the main head, there will be consequences. Otherwise, they will be the agents of chaos and will cause destruction and havoc everywhere. That is what they don't realize. They are trying to control the said monster made out of metal so that they can dominate the whole world. Then they will be the first one to get destroyed by this. That is something that they won't realize. Ghidorah is nothing more than the agent of chaos. Even the sage so himself has said in the book, said Danzo, he cannot be allowed to revive at all cost, or otherwise even Madara or Hashirama arrive here cannot save us. Only he can. Who? Said Koharu. Godzilla. As we go towards Naruto, who we see that was resting inside his own bed in his apartment that was given to him. He has been living here since he was at the age of 4, and currently he was 6. It was still 2 years since he began the academy, so he has a lot of free time. So he visits his Gigi and spends most of his day there. As he couldn't rest that night, something about those images have stuck inside his mind. And finally, thinking about those, he drifted to a sleep. As he drifted to a sleep, he woke up in a land that was so modern yet so destroyed. And many of the objects made out of metal was flying in the air with huge soaring sound, as they were throwing huge amount of explosives that were launching at blinding speeds as well. As that is when Naruto witnessed the three-headed dragon, as his wings were expanded in the dark, as it roared and lightning struck everywhere. But before it could strike Naruto, a roar appeared and a blast was fired. As Naruto looked towards the source, there it stood, the image that he watched, and the name in the whole book that he only could read, Godzilla. Naruto said, as soon as he saw him and made eye contact with Godzilla, he woke up as he gasped. As he bolted up from his bed, what was that? It was so vivid. Maybe I should stop thinking about those kaijus. They were quite scary. As Naruto then went to take shower, as now we go towards the other side of the elemental nation, where Snow Country existed, to see that the new leader and the king of the Snow Country, that a man with prestigious clothes was walking in a huge metal base, with many of the people around him gathering and saluting him. Doto-sama, what do we owe the pleasure of your visit? Silenced scientist. I am here because I've spent a lot of fortune on this project of yours. But Ghidorah's head is still trying to sync with the Godzilla that we have created. Make it work faster. As before he could speak any further, the scientist then said, "But my king, if we experiment without any any more proof, then there might be consequences that we will be reviving Ghidorah, the agent of chaos. And that is what we are trying to achieve, scientist. Do not question me once more. I am trying to revive this king of the monsters so that I can use its power to dominate the world. It is damn time that we, as the Snow Country, show the world and those shinobis that what we are capable of with our technology. They have far since ever, long enough, have looked down upon us, all because of my brother's non-capability, but not because of me. I will bring us to a whole new level, and we will not only be the rulers of them, but the whole world." As they all cheered. "So move as fast as you can, because time is of essence, Doctor. I still need some years. Take as much as you want, but not too many, or there will be consequences." "Hi, Doto-sama." As Doto Kazehana then left with a smirk. But unknown to him, the huge being, red eye glowed, looking at him, before turning back off, since it was still being constructed and not completed yet. As now we go towards Konoha, as we see that Naruto wasn't feeling himself after that dream, and has been acting weirdly. Even at Ichiraku's, he went to get his lunch, since it was afternoon, and he was just playing with his noodles and ramen. As Tenaichi then said, "Naruto, is something wrong?" "Oh, nothing. I had this weird dream, and I don't know. I'm just out of it, I guess. Most of the time that we have some bad dreams, Naruto, it'll be fine if you talk about it. It is something that I can't talk about or explain to you. Those things don't even exist that I saw in my dream." "What did you see, Naruto?" "Kaijus. And they were fighting." "Kaijus, huh?" "Wait, weren't they the same story that we heard as kids? Like Godzilla and Mothra and stuff?" Yeah, the same one," Naruto said. "That must be cool, Naruto. You've seen him. Seen him in your dreams, haven't you?" "I guess you can say that." "I guess I did." As after that, Naruto was coming back home. Since he didn't want to visit his Gigi or bother him with this information, he was going back home, but his mind couldn't just let go of the dream. As he arrived to his home, he was knocked out when he was about to enter the door of his house. And when he woke up, he was on the outskirts, tied to a wooden post, and in front of him stood some of the shinobis, who hated him. "Today you die, demon. We will finish what the fourth Hokage started, and ended. Today." "What? What do you mean? What did he start it?" "Oh, hush, demon, like you don't even know. You are the embodiment of evil, the Kyubi no Yoko. That is why we never liked you, or have thought that you are a part of us. Even if you have taken the skin and looks of a child, you will not be able to deceive us. Isn't that right, people?" As Naruto looked, as many of the civilians have gathered around there. As Naruto looked at them in shock. "Why? I didn't do anything to all of you." "No, you did. You killed a lot of our people. You see that woman? You killed his whole family." As the old woman gripped her knife that she had brought there. "Today you will pay for that, you demon." As one by one they said these words, as an Uchiha landed in front of them. Not without me. He was Fugaku's cousin, and a distant one, who wanted to be the clan head, but since he lost all and everything, he has gone and rebelled against everything. And he has hated Minato, because he too was a candidate of the Hokage, and knew about Naruto and has hated his legacy, and wanted to end it all with him. "And today you will pay the legacy of Yondaime," he said, but Naruto's ears were quite sensitive and heard this. "Yondaime?" As Naruto was stabbed by him, as he screamed in agony and pain, as this torture then began that he has ever felt in his whole life. As Naruto's vision was going blurry after a continuous torture of 2 hours that he has endured and gone silent. As Uchiha then said, "It is boring now. All of you are satisfied?" "Yes, Uchiha-sama. Now it is time for this demon to die and burn." "Katon, fireball no jutsu." As a huge fireball was shot and fired towards Naruto, as Naruto closed his eyes. But then again, a visage of Godzilla appeared. And then all things turned dark. And when Naruto was awake, he was in the arms of his Gigi. As Naruto's vision then fell to the other side to see that there was a huge amount of destruction everywhere. What happened, JD? You don't remember anything, Naruto? No. I was in pain and then nothing. I. It's alright. Rest, my boy. Kakashi, bring him to the Onbu hospital. It's code black. Nobody's allowed to enter there aside from me. As after Kakashi nodded and left to the Onbu hospital, we see that Danzo, Koharu, and Homura, who were also there alongside the clan heads, and many of the shinobis, looked towards Hiruzen. That was a kaiju, Hiruzen. Naruto was able to transform into a kaiju. How did that happen? Did you know? No. Minato and Kushina never did something of that sort. So you mean Naruto is the first person to transform into a kaiju? Maybe. But we haven't heard of a case. Maybe the other villages have fabricated and hidden him. Or such person. If that is true, then this could indicate only one thing. The message that is left behind by the sage himself. What? Said Danzo and the others. The war is about to begin. They are about to awaken again and retake their world. What? Who are you talking about? The kaijus. They're going to come back now. As on the other side, in the deepest pits of earth, there existed a plane where only one huge mammoth existed. King Kong, as he was called. He has been hidden there for many centuries and has been doing nothing more than slumber. As he too stirred awake with the uproar caused by Godzilla. But only stirred and nothing else. As now we go towards the council meeting that has been caused. Okage-sama, what was that demon? Is it the Kyuubi that has been summoning that? That was not a demon, said one of the civilians. I have sided with you for way too long, but that wasn't a demon, that was a kaiju. Kaijus, but they are just nothing more than a myth, Mebuki-san. Isn't that right, Okage-sama? They were supposed to be, but why does it exist? There was a book written. I suppose that all of you have heard about the tale that there are some humans who have the capability of turning into a kaiju because they are blessed by those. Yes? It seems that Naruto is one of them. Naruto, the very demon that you thought, has transformed into the Godzilla himself. Godzilla? Then that means that, yes, the mark of the prophecy has begun. The prophecy of the old times, from the Bronze Age, regarding kaijus. They are awakening, and a war is about to begin. Since the first one has, the many will awaken in the upcoming years. We have to warn the others. We have to once again unite our strengths and hope for the best. What will happen to us? What will happen to our homes? This is not our home. This never was. This whole world is theirs. We just live in it. As after that, everyone just remained quiet when their Kage said these words. And after a month or so, as Naruto has recovered back and gone back to his normal life, we see that a Kage summit was called. And every Kage has been gathered there. Rasa from Suna, as well as A from Kumo, and Mei, who has taken over the whole Mizu village, was there as well. As for Oniki, he was there as well. What is the meaning of this, Hiruzen? Why have you called for this meeting? The war is about to begin. What war? Are you causing a war upon us? No, not us. You can't mean that, said Oniki, as he slammed his hands together. Are you making fun of us or that prophecy? That is not to be taken lightly, because we are the one who has been holding on to a temple of one of the kaijus. Kaijus? Said Mei, as she was shocked. But weren't they just a myth? Why are you all talking about such things? Wait, if you mean war, then one of them has come true, the prophecies. Yes, one of our shinobi's kids have awoken Godzilla. What? The king of monsters have awoken, meaning his subordinates will once again, and a battle will be held out to declare dominance. What will happen to our homes? What are we going to do? A said, as the huge discussion then broke out, as Oniki and Hiruzen said, enough! All we can do is combine our strengths and leave behind our hatred, said Oniki, and pray for the best. Because if the war begins, there is nowhere to hide for us. Everywhere is danger, especially if Ghidorah arrives back. And much to their shock, Ghidorah, who was dead, was being revived by the very own Snow Country. As Toto was very happy with the progress that was being made, as the Mecha Godzilla, as he called it, was close to completion now, or its body was, but there was still some test phases that needed to be completed. So he could connect his mind with the kaiju and can control it by himself. As now we go towards Naruto. He woke up again covered in sweat, but he looked down at his hand to see that his skin was turning back from scales. As he cleared his eyes, what? What was that? As Kakashi and Nananbu, who was standing in the corner, with shocked expression, then said, Nothing at all, Naruto. You don't need to worry about anything." "Who are you? And what is going on with me?" "Nothing is going on with you, Naruto. I promise you this much. Nothing will." As after that we see that Naruto has finally gone back to his normal life. As the shinobi villages were now much more aware and has given a code, the code black. If this code black was given, then all of the shinobis were together in a such place that was being built, a shelter, when this war began, so that the civilians and the shinobis alongside them could be protected. But this news was not only for the ears of the Kages, but to some of the people who existed amongst them, such as Orochimaru was also aware of this fact, since he was informed of this. "So the war is going to begin," he said, as he was talking to some figures that were in the shadows. "The war of the kaijus? Yes. Meaning our work is nothing important. It can be used." "What do you mean?" "Kaijus can be manipulated into fighting one another until they kill each other. And since there will be such chaos, those who have gathered around will be tired. Perfect time for us to gather the Jinchurikis and begin the Monai plan, in which the kaijus don't exist." "You may be right, but the biggest task will be to make sure that none of the Jinchurikis died during the course of this." "That is correct," said one of the figures. "So you all are with me on this one. We are going to build our own shelter and make sure that nobody dies. And once everything is done, I will have my Uchiha body and you will have your Jinchurikis. And we can work together on this one as well. What do you say, Nagato?" "Silence. That is not my name," said an orange finger standing outside with Rinnegan into the light. "My name is Pain. Remember that well, Orochimaru. And I am a god." Whatever you say." As after that, the hands were shaken, and the contract was formed. Good. Very good indeed. As now we go towards Naruto, as he has finally enrolled into the academy, where we see him sitting all by himself, since the thoughts couldn't leave his mind of the war that was going on. And this time around, he witnessed that one being was also with him, his friend, Kong, who has left for his own world where he was existent before, the midplane, as it was called. As Naruto did not know how he knew about this information, but he had to find him, because he was the key to all of this, stopping this. Because in the past, a great enemy has risen once again and was defeated, and they could still do the same, but he needed his friend's help. He couldn't do it alone. As Naruto drifted to sleep, as in his sleep, this time around, he was floating in a bubble, standing in front of a huge monster whose eyes opened. As the monster then spoke to him, as Naruto could understand him. "So you are my reincarnation." "Wait, what? Can you?" "I can talk, little one. I have blessed one of your ancestors, and it seems that I was reincarnated into you." "But why me?" "I have been living through a long time and decided to pass away since of the old age, and you will be the new king, since you have the ability to grow into me. But you cannot do this alone. You will need his help, the help of my friend Kong. You have to go to the midplane. A great disaster is arising. that will cause chaos and destruction everywhere. And only you and him can stop this. I will, but where is the midplane? As the eyes of the kaiju glowed, and Naruto's did as well, matching his. I see now. I know what I have to do. As Naruto bolted up from his seat as everyone laughed at him. Naruto, first you fall asleep, and if I don't do anything, you mumble in your sleep. Who are you talking to? Iruka was, to be honest, quite worried about, as everyone was making fun of Naruto, because Naruto has been identified as the Jinchuriki, and not only that, but also as the one who can transform into the Godzilla, a kaiju of the old time that he too was familiar and aware of. Meaning Naruto could be talking to either one of them. I have to go. There is something that needed to be done, and I have to do this. What do you mean, Naruto? What is it that is needed to be done by you? Said Iruka, as Kiba then said, yeah, Naruto, what is it that you need to do? Change your diapers? As he was the only one laughing at the jokes, not funny Kiba. I have to go. Oh no. I have to go outside, Naruto said, as he felt sudden pain, as he heard a voice. Run outside if you don't want to hurt those people. As Naruto then dashed outside of the academy as Iruka got worried, and sent Mizuki to contact the Kage, who was scared as well, as Naruto was dashing outside of the village by the time now. As Iruka followed him, Naruto, stop right there. What is going on? I have to go outside. It's happening. Again. As Iruka realized what Naruto was trying to say and carried him there after nodding. Okay, Naruto. As they dashed outside and arrived outside of the whole village where the Forest of Death entrance, the other entrance was, that was used by the villagers to conduct tests for the Genians to become Chunins. As Naruto was arrived there, as he finally was put on the ground. Naruto, are you alright? Back off, Sensei. I can't hold it. As Iruka then witnessed Naruto transform into a huge kaiju as it roared up into the sky, causing even the earth to shake in itself, as the people and everyone was worried what was going on. As suddenly out of nowhere, a huge monster appeared. It was a huge snake, and it was a kaiju never to be heard or seen before. As Godzilla took him on by biting it in the neck and wiggling it and throwing it far away, as it roared and charged up its classical beam as it fired. And after firing the plasma beam, the said kaiju erupted into multiple blasts, as Godzilla then slapped its tail to the ground, as stomped its feet in victory before it roared, looking at the sky, as everyone has witnessed the power of the Godzilla and has seen him destroy a calamity level threat with ease, before Naruto started to turn back, as the kaiju looked towards Iruka and nodded before it turned back into Naruto, as Naruto was falling from midair, as Iruka got him. Phew. So that is why you need to go. Yes, something happened. When I woke up, I sensed something that was going on, Naruto said, as he was panting heavily and covered in a huge amount of sweat, and was partially naked because of his clothes being ripped off. So that thing was a kaiju. They exist, Sensei. I can sense when one of them is closer, and many of them were. It seems seeing their leader die, they have retreated back, meaning they will decide for a new alpha before it comes back. I have to inform this to Hokage-sama. You don't need to, Iruka. Mizuki informed me of the things, and I have come here because I saw him transform. What are you saying, Naruto? There are many of the kaijus. They are hiding beneath us. There is a whole plane, and in that plane is the only other hope that can stop the calamity that is coming. What do you mean, Naruto? As Iruka and Hiruzen now had a bad intuition that was tingling. Ghidorah is being revived by some village, and he will revive. The real one. He cannot be controlled or maintained. I have to find him. He and I are the only one who can stop it. Who, Naruto? Who else? King Kong. As Hiruzen was aware of the said huge gorilla, and knew that they needed to find the other king, the king of the midplane. So you're going to the midplane? You know about this place, Gigi? No, Naruto. I only heard about this from the book, because I have been trying to decipher it. You don't need to worry about that, Sensei. I will take Naruto there. When you informed me today and contacted me to come here, I thought that you were just joking and the whole thing was nothing more than a prank. But it turns out it is true. And those kaijus do exist. But the heck that I didn't even ask my own clans. Because even they told me that it was true. And many of the kaijus do exist. And they too are an successor and descendant of the kaijus themselves, who have been mingling with way too much chakra and have become the summoning clan. I see. As suddenly, Tsunade has also arrived there, and so have Orochimaru. Orochimaru, what are you doing here? I have been contacted by the Snake Clan, and, more importantly, Manda. Their king has arrived, and it has made itself known. And as we are the human representatives of our clan, we are to be there for him, because a war is about to begin, Sensei. To be honest, I was going to stand against this war and fulfill what I needed, but now only one thing is in my mind: survival. Ghidorah cannot be allowed to revive at all cost. We have to find and track them down. I think that I know who are the ones who are behind this. Who? The Snow Country. Only they could do this. I see. Call for a Kage summit this urgently, Danzo, and inform the other Kages to come and meet. It is of urgency. And Naruto is going with us. We can gather as much forces as we want. Are you sure about this, Sensei? I mean, I already told them, Jiraiya. There's no need to hide or not tell them anything. They have as much as the right to know as we do. Because, in the end, if the Kaiju's war begin, many of the lives will be lost because both of the parties, even if the one protecting us, will be busy fighting and will not care about the consequences that will affect the humanity. And we might end up like the old people of the old age, who are much more advanced than us. I have seen that as well. I have seen him, three-headed dragon, the agent of chaos, Ghidorah. His lightning is far more stronger than enough to destroy the whole world if it wanted to, with a single strike. But he wants to play with his prey, with all three of its head, and that is why he is the agent of chaos, and we cannot allow him to revive at all cost. And that is why I need his help. Contact whoever you want, Gigi. We have to find the midplane and contact Kong. I know, Naruto. I know. As after that, we see that within some few hours, the whole Kage summit was gathered. And even Orochimaru was there. I'm surprised that Orochimaru is here. Well, the clans are the three of the most strongest shinobis from Konoha. The Sanins are back for the time being, because they need to take care of this monster that is about to appear. What do you mean? Ghidorah is being revived, and we suspect that it is the Snow Country, since they have found out about a head that resembles that of a lizard, and they're doing some sort of experiments with it. One of the agents from our village was able to, infiltrate their facility. It is a Mecha Godzilla, from the looks of it. That is the name of it. As Naruto was taken over by Godzilla, he cannot be allowed to revive. I have destroyed one of its head with Kong in the past, but that shook the earth so much that the whole world and the old age was destroyed, which was much more advanced than all of you. But after that, the sage appeared, and he was aware of us. I have told him my story, and he has made sure that we have been hiding. Since before I was able to pass away, one of the Uzumakis was able to stumble upon me, and I blessed him that one of his ancestors will have the ability to transform into me. And Naruto was that ancestor that I have chosen. But what about the Kyuubi? That Biju is a replicate of us. A second grade one that was created by none other than the sage himself, so that the power could be balanced out of the Ten Tails. The Ten Tails? Yes. Ten-tail monster is another kaiju that cannot be allowed to relive. It is an alien kaiju that came from outer space alongside the rabbit goddess. So she was existent as well. Everything that you thought of a myth to this point is existent. That is your history that you cannot deny. And as Hiruzen have said, this is my world, and I will not allow it and the people that live in it to be harmed. But they are to not interfere with my battles, because that is the only reason they are getting hurt. And that was the reason of the previous age to destroy, because they thought that they could help me and fight my battles with their manpower. But in the end, nothing affected, and they were the one who were on the losing and dying end. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't protect them. I may have won that war, but I lost the battle. And that is why Ghidorah cannot be allowed to revive at all cost. But even if he did, I'm always up for a challenge. As after that, Naruto fell back, stumbling upon because his body was taken over without his consent. I'm sorry, kid, but that was needed to be done. As now Naruto, who was passed out because of this, goes inside his mindscape to see that on one side was standing Godzilla, much more towering and huge, and on the other side was a cave that was half size of the Godzilla, and inside it was the huge fox, who looked at Naruto. So you have arrived, the Prince of the Kaijus. Prince of the Kaijus? Since you are one of my ancestors, and I was the king of the Kaijus, you, Naruto, are my adoptive son and the Prince of the Kaijus, and you will retake my throne and be the one that will be the supreme power, and I'm here to make sure that you do. And what about him? He's here as your subordinate. Isn't that right, QB? Hi, my lord, said the Biju as it bowed. As Godzilla roared then, it is time for you to awaken, because it is time for you to start your journey to find Kong at all cost. As after Naruto woke up, he saw that he alongside some of the shinobis and konoichis were formed into a group that were decided to go to the midplane, because there has been an entrance found in the deepest mountains of Kumo, and they hoped that this was true. As now this was going on, we go towards the snow country, where we see that Doto Kazehana has found about his niece, the true heir to the snow country, and he was not having any of it. How was she able to survive? She shouldn't have. I thought I told you to kill her. I'm sorry, my lord, but I couldn't kill the legacy of the true heir, and you are nothing more than a tyrant that has taken this peaceful land and turned it upside down into a warmongering land. So what? We are supreme beings. We are the ones with the minds of the old age that were much advanced than that. We will bring back those old golden days where we were the ones who ruled over everyone, and they had to be dependent on us by crook or by hook. So that is why I will not allow any treacherous thoughts lingering in everyone's mind. Hang his head outside of my castle to let it display that nobody betrays their king. Hi. As he was killed, and his head was hung there. But before he could do so, Doto's only heard these words, "Long live the true king." As it seemed like he had heard these words before. As currently he was standing in front of the youth's skull, witnessing his greatest creation come to life. A kaiju of his own. Godzilla of his own. As he put a hand on the youth's skull, "Do not worry, I will bring you back, Godzilla." As the huge monster for a brief moment looked down at him, his eyes transcending down, as one of the scientists witnessed this before he looked at the scientist and fired a plasma beam, destroying it. What? What has happened? As he looked at the Biju to see that it was shut down. It seems like a malfunction happened. The scientist is dead, my lord. It pushes back our whole schedule. The Godzilla would have been completed this year, but it seems that we have to push it back. Completed within 1 year. That is how long I'm going to give this project time to all of you. You are his students and disciples. Finish this project of his. Damn it, what a waste of good money and time. And somebody find my niece and kill her for good. As after that, Doto left to his apartment. which was there inside the lab, because he couldn't go back to his kingdom because he wasn't feeling well that day. As he finally went to his apartment that was there and slept until he begins to see the images as well. Revive us. Bring us back. You and I will be the king. We will be the king. I will be the king. Take revenge for us. Long live the king, said Doto as he woke up, his eyes glowing with yellow lightning before they turned back. I will do so, as you please, my lord. My life is yours to take. I will revive you at all cost. Good. You see, what happened was that the three-headed dragon skull that he has found was the skull of the middle one, and the main head, and it has corrupted Doto since he made contact with its skeleton. Even the skeleton of the kaijus were said to be so powerful. And now Ghidorah had a loyal slave, who he knew would even sacrifice his life to revive, with all cost. No questions asked, and he was happy about it. And that is what Doto was going to do, kill himself to revive his lord. Finish the job within 5 months. But my lord, you said 1 year. I said what I said, and I'm saying this again. 5 months. That is how much I'm going to give you the time. Complete this, and you will be spared. Otherwise, you will face my wrath. As after that, we go towards Naruto. As Naruto was currently standing outside of the huge entrance, which was seen to be the mid-world, where Kong existed and still lived. As Naruto looked towards the people that were going with him, it was Kakashi Hatake, a Jonin from Konoha, as well as Asuma Sarutobi, his own Nissan, and not only him, it was B. Kuretsuchi Yujito as well. And Mei Terumi herself was going because she has volunteered and was the strongest Konoichi amongst her villagers. And all of them were ready now. Are you sure, Mizukage-sama, that you are up for this? I mean, you can remain here, and we do not want to endanger any of the Kages. We could have gone down as well, said A, because I always like a challenge, and it would have been a pleasure to witness our ancestor and the one we have worshipped for a long time for strength to see in action. You mean Kong? Yes. Kong is well respected here, and we have known that Bijus are the successor of the kaijus, especially Kong. As after that, they all entered, as Naruto and everyone was walking, as they were walking through the huge mountains and caves for hours now, to no end. As Naruto then said, if something happens, if Godzilla and Kong were to fight, please, you don't need to worry about any of us, Naruto, said Yujito. We will take care of all of this. We will not try to get in your way, because we know that the kaijus are much more stronger than us. And not only that, we will try to aid you as much as possible. Me and Matatabe and Killer Bee and the Eight Tails will. As Kyuubi took over Naruto and said, those two will not be enough. Lord Naruto will be more than enough, since he's the prince of the kaijus, adoptive son of Godzilla. So you don't need to worry about anything, mortal. As Naruto then returned back to normal. Yeah, he gets cranky when you say that. As Naruto and all of them then finally arrived at their entrance after walking for weeks to no end now. Well, finally. Is this the... We do not know. As they were talking, they heard sudden rumbling in the forest, as they heard huge footsteps. As they were getting closer, as Naruto then sensed something. Jump, kid. Evolve into me if you want them to survive. As Naruto did. Naruto! Said Kakashi, as he witnessed Naruto jump from that height, as there was nothing beneath them. It was miles down, as Naruto then suddenly transformed into a huge Godzilla, which roared. Whoa, said Kuretsuchi. Damn. As Naruto then slapped its tail on the ground, as it roared again. As out of nowhere, Kong jumped and punched Godzilla, sending him to the side, as Godzilla stumbled on its feet and charged up its beam. As Godzilla witnessed Kong jump into the air with a huge axe in its hand that was made out of his own scale of the back. As the beam fired at it, then it charged, but Godzilla this time dodged and laughed at Kong before punching him in the face, throwing him down and roaring on top of his head, as Kong finally grumbled and remained silent after a roar as well. And after some time, they were just roaring at each other. What are they doing? They're trying to communicate. They're trying to dominate each other through their way of speaking. Until Naruto returned back to normal. What is going on? Why did I... As Kong then looked at him with his huge eye. Before Kong roared, as Naruto just remained there stood. Before Kong just sat down and looked at Naruto. Before it began to speak in sign language. As Kakashi and all of them were also down now, after walking huge miles down. Naruto? Wait, what are they doing? Said Kuretsuchi. They seem to be communicating. I'm sorry, but I don't understand what you are speaking. As Kong looked at them, causing them to go still, but he then indicated to them to come there. As after coming there, he began to speak in sign language again. He says, Kakashi said, since he had somewhat knowledge of sign language, that it is nice to meet you finally. And he has been waiting for his friends for so long. It was a nice squabble that we had back there. As Kakashi then signed back for Naruto. As Kong then nodded. What did he say? He agrees to us. What did you say to him, Kakashi-Nisan? I said that Ghidorah is reviving. And so is Mechagodzilla. As Kong then got up and roared, before slamming his chest with his fist, before finally putting his fists down, as he looked at them and indicated towards the opening, indicating that he was ready. As the mission would have usually taken a month, but the Kages every day visited there to remain there for 1 hour, and this was the visiting hours when a huge grumbling shook, as all of the Kages were now there, gathered alongside the shinobis, because they knew one of two things was happening. Either an angry Kong fighting with Godzilla was about to erupt, or either Kong was coming. As finally, what happened was, they saw that the whole people were outside, and so was Kong, as he was carrying them on back, as he looked at all of them, before roaring at them and indicating his dominance. As all of them bowed, our king has returned. As the whole Kuma bowed, looking at the kaiju, the legend and the symbol of strength amongst them. As after that, Naruto then said, yeah, he's too excited to be here. As this, unknown to all of them, was sensed by Ghidorah himself, as he was beginning to Starvik. Finish, complete the project of yours. Revive us. I'm trying, my lord. I'm trying my best. Doto hasn't been well, and he was getting much more skinnier within the course of weeks, and his health was declining. My king, you need to eat something, otherwise you will not live that far. How far the project is? It is completed, but its test needs to be done. There is no test required. Connect me to it, and so do my king. My king, you don't need to. Shut up and do as I told you. Connect me and King Ghidorah to Mechagodzilla. As that is what was done. Here you go, king. As Dodo screamed in agony before he was fried. As Ghidorah's personality took over Mechagodzilla before it screamed and destroyed everything in its path with plasma beam. And the first city that was hit itself was the Snow Country, destroying in its own sorrow. As the Akatsuki arrived there, almighty push. As Ghidorah was thrown back for a mile or so before it stumbled again on its feet and roared as lightning discharged from its body, killing most of the Akatsuki members. Damn it! Kakazu and Hidan are dead. Immortal group is dead, huh? What are we then? We have to still stand on our ground. This is no longer a battle about peace. It's a battle of survival. As even though Toby didn't want to agree, he had to. These monsters were much more powerful and shouldn't be allowed to exist, and yet they did. And look what chaos they have caused. What are we going to do? It is time to reveal everything. Susanoo. As the Susanoo was revived by Obito. And still the battle couldn't be won, as Mechagodzilla was unleashed and was causing havoc everywhere. But this wasn't the final project. There was another secret hidden project that was going on there. The revival of the true king, and his personality. His other counterpart, Ghidorah himself, as it soared through the sky as well. The metallic three-headed dragon soared and roared as the thunder boomed and struck everywhere. It has begun. Everyone to the shelter, now! Said Rasa, as everyone was dashing towards the shelter. As the Jinchurikis were at the front gates, as they and their breeches were now completely synced, knowing fully well that a huge battle was about to commence. What is that? That is Ghidorah. But we thought that only Mecha Godzilla was reviving. This cannot be. Something is needed to be done. Something must be taken care of. As Kong then talked to them. They're coming this way. They have sensed us. As Naruto then transformed into the Godzilla as well as it roared. We'll be bringing the battle to them. As Naruto roared, as every shinobi was now in a protective manner. As the barrier squad of all the villages was currently holding on to a barrier, which they knew will be feeble but will be able to give enough chance for the civilians to escape if push comes to shove. The barriers erupted Shikaku-sama. Good. As Shikaku looked at all of the other shinobi clan head leaders. It is time, everyone. We are the second line of defense. And after that, these are the Jonins and Anbus. And then are the Chunins. And in the last line of defense, as well as the evacuating one, are the Genins. And they are to escape as well. But we, until the Chunins, will hold our fort. The battle of the ages is about to begin. You are about to witness history. Either we will exist to see through it and continue this story to our generations, or become a part of it. Like the previous ones. As many of them gulped, knowing fully well the battle and the gravity of the situation that was about to begin. As Naruto then stumbled upon with Mecha Godzilla, biting his neck, but he was punched into the guts as the Mecha Godzilla lifted him up before firing his red plasma beam, throwing the original Godzilla way back and destroying some of the abandoned villages. As Naruto got up and fired a huge plasma beam, as now the plasma beams were battling once more. You have to use my strength. Use it, said the QB, as Godzilla's beam then turned from white and blue into golden, as it was now more overpowering, as Godzilla was absorbing chakra as well from the earth now, since he was a chakra user, as Naruto then said, making Shadow Clone with his Godzilla body, as two more clones appeared. We have to do this, as the three clones of the Shadow Clones of Godzilla alongside the real one fought the Mecha one, as Kong was fighting off Ghidorah himself with his huge axe. He has taken off one of the heads and instantly destroyed it, as the two heads were the only ones remaining, and one of the side of the wings were cut off, as Ghidorah has fallen. But before it could do anything, self-destruct sequence activated, and the minor heads was blown up by the original Ghidorah, which was in Godzilla. As now, Kong was knocked out, as Godzilla slapped its tail on Kong chest to activate his heart, as Kong was now back to life, and coughing huge amount of blood as it looked up and growled at the Mecha Godzilla, before grabbing the axe and dashing towards the said being, before it was slapped away by the tail. How does it feel? The beasts were now communicating with one another, to be on the end of losing the battle. It has been millennia. This is no longer our world. Oh, but it is. It has always been. Because of you and your greed, Ghidorah, we have lost many of our comrades and people and kind. We are the only ones that are remaining, and you shouldn't. I should be the only one, and they should worship and fear me. This will cause a lot of trouble in the future. And a lot of death. You know that, right? So what? As the other Bijus and Jinchuriki suddenly appeared, and they too were joining the battle in their perfect Biju state. What are you all doing here? Godzilla roared and asked them. As they replied back, we are here to aid you, Naruto. We are not going to let our prince battle this battle alone. As all of their powers combined, as they shot Biju-sama at it, as Kong and Naruto, who was in a Godzilla state, fought the battle. And in the end, Godzilla, or Mecha Godzilla, was pushed back until huge nuke missiles were fired. And it was such blast radius that almost half of the earth was infected by it before chakra regained over the earth and filtrated the air as the nuclear atoms and the radioactivity went away. But a huge amount of earth was destroyed. Oh no. The earth, half of it is destroyed, said B. What are we going to do? As they saw Kong, who was knocked out cold, and Naruto, who was returned back to his normal state, as he was panting heavily. I'm sorry, kid. I have used my all strength. As Naruto then did something. His chest began to glow. Long live the true king. As his eyes began to glow as well. As he opened his mouth to scream, but all it came was a plasma beam. A beam that grew into such a huge beam that fired and destroyed the head of Godzilla, destroying and killing it once and for all. As Naruto fell down on the ground, panting heavily, before he passed out in cold, as the wounded people and shinobis got up and picked him up. As Naruto vision came from the darkness to light to see that he was being lifted and celebrated. As the Akatsuki then stood there, only a few of them remained after the battle with the Ghidorah. And that was Pain and none other than Conan. What are we going to do, Nagato? Everyone is dead. And it seems the peace has been achieved after this war. And the war that we have won. This has been way too much of a hectic week, Nagato. Yes, Conan. Let us rest now. And forget about this once and for all. You're right. Let's move on. As now we see the Sanins who were celebrating as well. So what are you gonna do now, Orochimaru? What do you mean I'm gonna do? The prince has returned, and we have just become victorious. And I'm not gonna lie and say that I did not miss the whole time, so I guess I am back. I'm back for good this time. I hope so. As everyone was celebrating and cheering until Naruto finally regained consciousness back in Konoha, that was rebuilt, and the construction was still going on. As in front of him was none other than his Gigi, who was smiling down upon him. You did it, Naruto. You protected all of them. What do you mean, Gigi? You gave them hope. You protected them. What happened to Kong? Did he? Alas, that is something that not happened. Kong died in the end. He was just too old and has outlived anyone, even you, beating you in the only game that he seemed fair, outliving you. I guess he would do that. So what now? He too have blessed you, Naruto, and your ancestor will be revived as him. So he's gonna be reviving as my son now. Wow, talk about that mammoth. I guess I'll miss him. He didn't have to die. He was just living peaceful life. Some sacrifices are necessary. Even Kong knew that. But Ghidorah? He did not understand that. Even back then. We told him, tried to convince him that this no longer was our world and we just should live peacefully away from each other. That is until we met each other. And at first we tried to show our dominance to one another, but in the end, we knew what we were trying to do and achieve was futile. We were already strong in our own right, and we made truce and peace, which grew into a friendship. And in the end, he has beaten me, since he was my rival. And I respect that. And so should you, Naruto, since you are the one now who owns this world. No, Godzilla. Naruto said as he was finally able to walk towards the window, although limpingly as he looked out at the people who were working hard, as the sun was shining brightly. This is our world, and we all live in it. No longer under anyone. I guess that sounds nice as well. As Naruto looked at his Gigi, that does sound nice. So what do you say, Naruto? Should we go and let everyone greet our new hero and king? I guess you can say that. Let us, Gigi. As Naruto and Hiruzen were now seen standing above the Hokage monument, alongside with the other Kages who have formed peace, and everyone was cheering, as Naruto was shocked at this. You see this, kid? They are people from different villages, said Oniki, who hated one another. If this war hasn't happened, our eyes wouldn't have opened, and we would have never thought in many years that we will be joined here and together as one. But due to that war, some good things have happened, and nobody died this time around. Someone did, said he, and we will have a funeral for him. You don't need to worry about that, said Kakashi, as up on the Hokage monument was a huge statue of Kong that was created, with his axe still in the hand, the original one, indicating that Kong is not only the symbol of strength for Kumo, but for all of them. And not only that, he was the symbol of peace in itself, because due to his death, he was able to bring peace. And Godzilla even respected that, and so did Naruto. As he looked towards everyone, as he roared at them, and shot his plasma beam up into the air, indicating that he is their king, as everyone cheered, as Naruto smiled down upon all of them, as he smiled brightly at the sun and at the statue of his old friend. As this is where I'm going to be leaving the story off, guys. I hope you like this one, and if you do, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Both of them, if you like the content of this channel. And as for my second channel, stay tuned, a story will be coming there shortly. And yeah, this is Apollo Uchiha, and I'm signing out for the day. Peace!